What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode here presented by RSWrestlingNews.com. And today we're going to be discussing a shocking topic in which it was CM Punk visiting the April 24th, 2023 WWE Monday Night Raw event in Chicago, Illinois. This, as I record it, is on a Tuesday. I wanted to wait to make this video when we had all of the facts, or the majority of the facts that we're going to get, because I didn't want it to be an outdated video, and it will be to a certain degree come later in the week. But from Dave Meltzer, from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, from Mike Johnson of PW Insider, I feel like I have a very, very good overall structure in regards to what happened and why it happened and everything like that. So let's get into it. Punk was flying back from Florida where he was calling a MMA show for UFC Fight Pass, Cage Fighting Championship or something like that. On this flight, it had a bunch of WWE talent on there. And although Punk has been gone since 2014, and while he did have a bad fallout with the company, he still has a lot of friends over there. Anyways, they were flying from, I think, Orlando to Chicago. A lot of WWE talent are based out of Orlando. During this flight, he sat with them and he was chit-chatting with them. And then they were like, hey, we're going to Chicago. You want to go and visit so-and-so? And that's what happened. And it was really on a whim. It was not all right, I'm going to get on this flight, or, hey, I'm going to go to Chicago right now. Months in advance, weeks in advance, WWE's coming into town. It's like, oh, okay, well, this went well. I'll go to the arena and talk. The way he got into the building was with the fellow WWE talent. He just walked in with them, and he was kind of in this common area that is being described. I would just assume it's like near the entrance where the guys walk in down the ramp after you park, right, into the arena. And he was out in the middle of everywhere to see. Everyone to see. Including Triple H, Paul Levesque. They reportedly shook hands. Punk asked, hey, can I have 2 minutes of your time? I'd like to chit-chat. He said, sure, but let me make sure that it's okay with the big guy, reference Vince McMahon, after Punk asked, hey, are you sure it's all right if I'm here? And, based off of their history alone, where Punk ripped him on Colt Cabana's podcast and everything like that, that was something. It was reported that Punk was talking with WWE talent, just kind of catching up and everything like that. He also wanted to mend fences with The Miz after making some comments on WWE Backstage, which was a FS1 program back in the day, a few years ago, and reportedly also wanted to make amends with Triple H for his comments on there. In regards to a few rumor killers, let's do it. He was not there to test out the waters to see if he was welcome back in WWE. That was speculated about, but PW Insider killed that pretty quickly. In regards to... and before I continue, let me finish up the story. So, Triple H left. He called Vince shortly thereafter. WWE security came up to Punk and said, hey man, you got to go. He was very respectful in leaving, and he did so. And the belief is that Vince McMahon made the call for Punk to get out of the venue. Now, this leads me to my second rumor trailer that I was going with. There was speculation as to why was he kicked out, aside from the fact that he's CM Punk. Because there has been other AEW talent, your Malachi Blacks, your Andrades, your Ricky Starks. You can kind of go down the list of AEW talent that have been allowed to go to WWE events, and vice versa. When Britt Baker was solo in AEW and Adam Cole was still in AEW and still in WWE NXT, Cole was allowed to go to AEW events and Baker was allowed to go to WWE events. So what is the issue? It's not an AEW thing, right? Well, there was one source that told PW Insider, look, it's not necessarily the AEW thing. It's really more or less, it's CM Punk, and the company and him have a long history of kind of bad blood. And rightfully so, especially due to the long legal battle in which they went and endured, kind of thing. Okay, so he left. Punk is still reportedly under contract with AEW for a lengthy amount of time. Time probably was added to his deal. I'm sure time was added to his deal based off of the suspension and layoff that he had with the injury since All Out last September or late August. He's also just a few weeks away from making his AEW television return on the June 17th edition of AEW Collision, a reported Saturday show that is supposed to be premiering with its inaugural event in Chicago, with that show being built around Punk. Tony Khan wanted him back, Warner Bros. Discovery wanted him back, and all indications, unless something wild happens, which is clearly not out of the realm of possibility, Punk will be returning to AEW in June. So it's not him necessarily trying to test out the waters. I think it was on a whim. I think that it drummed up interest for him if he thinks that he doesn't have enough interest. It's very interesting, but shocking. Very shocking. Anyway, that's the latest on CM Punk thing. I think that's all we're going to get out of this story. See how it all plays out, y'all.